Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United at the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast in association with Lucky Star Gin. If you're a regular listener, thank you and welcome back. I really do appreciate it. If you're a new listener, you're very, very welcome. I'm your host, Mike, and joining me today, I have got, for the first match of the season, I've got George and Rory. We do love hearing from everyone, so join the conversation, stay connected, share your thoughts, your opinions, what you think of the episodes and so on social medias at Sutton Podcast, and like the episodes because it actually really does help us grow and gets more eyes on the show and therefore more eyes on Sutton United. We're going to start off with some intros, and Rory, we'll start with you. How's life treated you since you were last on?
Yeah, all good, I think, Mike. Yeah, it's been a nice summer. It seems to have come around really fast as well. First game of the season and away. Yeah, it doesn't seem like 5 minutes since the end of the last season.
No, I do remember ending last season and thinking, right, I've got a long time, lots of plans to put into practice, and I know exactly what I'll do in the summer. And next thing, it's like, oh, we're starting again. Okay, I didn't do any of that stuff. So who knows what will happen throughout the season? But thank you for joining us. George, the TikTok like machine. How are you? And probably most importantly, that people are waiting to know, how have the burgers been?
I haven't actually tried the burgers. I've had the chicken though, and that was very good.
We
yeah.
need to know George's opinion on the burgers. As George complained about the burger. But how have you been, mate?
Yeah, I've been good. I've differed slightly though. I felt that the summer was really long.
All right.
I suspect this might be an age thing.
Might be.
What are you trying to say,
we
Mike?
might be like, oh, thank God for that. We're off for a few weeks. And you're like, no, where's it all gone? But what we're going to do is, I didn't prep you for this one, so I'm putting you on the spot. We're going to do a knowing me, knowing you question. And it's going to be, have you ever, outside of a match, have you ever met a Sutton United player by chance? And what was it like? What was the situation? So you've got a couple of seconds while the music's going. Right, George is still rolling his eyes, thinking.
No.
So Rory, it's on you. Have you ever met a Sutton United player or ex-player, let's go with, away from the football side, and what was the situation?
That's a great question, Mike. I'm sure once I was walking down Sutton High Street and Tony Raines was on the other side of the High Street. I didn't say hello. I was too shy. But I'm sure it was him. I'm sorry, that probably is a great answer to your question.
That's fine. This doesn't make sense. I saw Tony. It was within football, but it was a completely different context. So it was at Sutton, at a women's game, and they've been sort of shown around, and then suddenly it twigged on me that, hang on, I know that person. In fact, no, it wasn't. I'd said to his daughter, have you been to the club before? And she kind of went, yeah, once or twice. Dad used to play. And then it was like, I know who you are now. So, George, what about yourself?
Ages ago, like when I was 7 or 8, I saw my dad went in to pay for petrol, and me and my brother were sitting in the car, and I saw Harry Beautyman come out the petrol station.
Nice.
I didn't say hello because I was in the car.
Well, I also had the entire Arsenal squad suddenly appear in the reception at my work while I'm sort of sitting sort of dealing with the customers and stuff, and I looked up and I saw them all. I was thinking, "What are you doing here?" And they were here to sort of like, to meet various people at the council. And I was fuming because I don't think there was many Sutton United supporters working at the council, and I didn't get an invite. I don't think Andy did either, but yeah. Okay. Anyone else got any stories where they hopefully talk to someone? Let us know if you've met a Sutton player outside of football. This will probably be a few of the older ones telling drinking stories with various players as well. But let us know. So a bit of news: the ladies' side had, I think, their last friendly today, and it was a very dominant win at the Seaside. They won 5-0. We should hopefully soon be able to get some actual thoughts on women's games, because obviously with them back in the borough, I can go to the games and actually say what happened. There was a brilliant fans event the other night. George, were you at it?
I couldn't make it. It was my nan's birthday.
Oh, nan. Bloody hell. Yeah, great event. Players were there. Obviously, Rory, it's a bit far for you. But the people who were there, players, first they kind of huddled together, but then after a little while, they were spread out all over the place, talking to different people. So yeah, very well done to Claire, the sports club, as well. And they sold loads of the lovely new black shirts. So if you haven't got yours yet, they're in the club shop. I don't think they're online yet, Rory, but they're definitely in the club shop.
They look lovely. I saw some people wearing them yesterday.
Yeah. Really, if you join the supporters club, which I did, you get a little. I can't do this because my mirror's backwards. That badge. You get a nice little badge, which you can't see. So I didn't do a paper ticket anymore. You get a nice little badge this time as well. Bottom to the match. Let's go. George, what were your thoughts ahead of the game? Did you have any thoughts on the lineup? And did you have any expectations going into the game before kickoff?
Well, on the way up there, I was quite pessimistic, I would say. I wasn't expecting. I would have been happy with the draw. I wasn't expecting much, and I was expecting us to sit back a lot and soak up a lot of pressure and try and hit them on the counter, which is what we done, to be honest. But yeah, I wasn't expecting much.
And did anyone in the lineup surprise you, or was it a case of I've just generally got no idea?
I didn't really have much. I didn't really know, because obviously the first game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised Jaden White wasn't in the squad.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a difficult one for Steve, because it's not just people not in the 11; it's going to be people not in the squad, and there's going to be people unhappy. But that's going to be a trick to keep everyone happy, which is why we're going to be doing the National League Cup again. Rory, how about yourself? Did you go into it with any expectations? Were there any surprises or people that you thought you expected to be included?
I think really similar to George, actually. I was surprised, and Toby, my son, was a big fan of Jaden White after that goal in pre-season. I thought he'd be starting, if not on the bench. So yeah, surprised about that. But yeah, I think my expectations were quite low as well. I think York are a really good team. Last season, when we beat them 2-1 there, I think we outplayed them last season, or soaked up a lot of pressure and kind of hit them on the break, just as George said. So I think I was expecting a similar kind of game yesterday, and would have been delighted with a point, to be honest. They're at home, big team, spent a lot of money. This sunny day, you'd expect them to kind of go for it, which I think they kind of did well, certainly in the first 20 minutes or so.
Absolutely. But I mean, we Steve kind of went, "Oh, it doesn't really matter," but history's on our side. They've never beaten us. I know it's only four games, or 5. It was 4 games up to yesterday and 5 games now, but they've never actually beaten us. So history was on our side. But I'll stick with you, Rory. You mentioned the first 20. It was 22 minutes, and Mike Nicholson had tweeted out going, "So far this season, we've conceded a penalty every 11 minutes." So how were you feeling at the moment of that second penalty? I know. I mean, you can also talk us through their first one if you want. The penalty there, was Jack a little bit naive, or was he really unlucky? Was he just done by some great play? But how are you feeling at sort of the point of we're 1-0 down and they just got a second penalty?
Yeah, it was a bit of an odd feeling, wasn't it? Because you kind of got all that excitement. First game of the season, everyone's up for it. Really good atmosphere. I felt, 199 at York is an amazing effort, I think. So yeah, everyone was really up for it. And then 20 minutes in, and we conceded 2 penalties. It rather took the shine off the kind of first game of the season. But yeah, first penalty was a stone cold penalty. I think you could argue with that. I think he just the bloke put it through Jack's legs. Jack got a bit tangled up and just kind of fell over him. And can really argue with that. Second penalty, I'm not sure. I heard Steve's post-match interview, and I think he's right. I think he just goes to kind of block the shot, and his hand is naturally there. I don't think it was any intention at all in that second one. We couldn't quite see from where we were because it was kind of around the corner a bit, but
I don't think you can quite see on the replay either, really.
You can't, can you?
But I know they sort of changed and clarified the rule that it's not intent or anything anymore, but it's like, how can you do a block like that without your hands? It's
exactly.
It's got to go somewhere. You can't go, oh, that's it, put my hands in my pockets. But you mentioned that the good mood. I mean, were people getting frustrated at that second penalty, or were they just kind of like, oh god, here we go?
Yeah, a bit of that. Well, I thought we started the game really well. First 5 minutes, we were playing some nice football. We looked really up for it. I think the penalty then took a bit of wind out of our sails, and then the second one, you thought, oh god, this could be really bad. This could be an horrendous start to the season.
In trouble here.
Yeah, definitely. But then,
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say when the same bloke stepped up to take the penalty. I don't know. I just got this feeling that he was going to go exactly the same way, and I think Jack would have saved it. I know he hit the post, and I think Jack would have got there.
Yeah, I think Jack knew which way he was going on that one.
Yeah.
What about yourself, George? How are you sort of feeling at the first penalty? What were your thoughts of it, and how are you feeling at that second penalty?
Well, the first penalty, I was standing right behind the foul, and it was one of the ones like you could see the penalty was coming as soon as he went past Jack, and I think it just like showed his lack of experience. But and then the penalty, by the way, was an amazing penalty. And then the second one, the people in front of me were saying it was definitely a penalty, but I couldn't really see it. And then, like when it was the same person, I just thought it was one of the ones where if he misses, I think we could get back in it. But if he scores, it could be 3 or 4.
Yeah. And
luckily, he hit the post.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a penalty because the ref said it was a penalty. But if we just accepted that, there'd be no shows to talk about. I've watched Jack's one, and again, it's one of those that I'm like, am I being overly generous or am I being overly harsh? I don't think there's anything he could do. I think he was just absolutely undone by a great bit of work, and he had no real option, and there was nothing else he could do. I suppose we're quite lucky he didn't get anything worse, but maybe I'm being too generous, or as you say, maybe it's just inexperience. But I'm putting it down to that was some good play, and we got undone. But as you say, he did miss the penalty. We'll be generous to Jack as well and say he definitely would have saved it. But talking of Jack, he had a brilliant game. I mean, throughout the whole game, there were loads of saves. You obviously, you guys were there. How did you feel about Sims? I think he got voted man of the match on the club's poll thing. But what did you think, George?
Well, where we were soaking up pressure, obviously he had a lot to do, and he handled it really well. Their second goal, he was just never going to save. There was no one was going to stop it. But yeah, I thought he handled it really well, and he made a lot of good saves.
There's a good double save as well at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think of him, Rory?
Yeah, totally agree. I thought he was quite, particularly with his feet, actually. Like, he's always good at coming out quickly. I thought he was excellent at that. He was quick off his line. So, yeah, when we were in danger a couple of times, as well as the kind of point blank saves. So, yeah, he definitely kept us in it a few times. And they missed a few opportunities, yeah.
There was one particular where he came rushing out where I was being generous to Jack Taylor a minute ago, where he very much underplayed a pass.
Yeah.
And had to come running out. And I think he made a point to Jack. he might have had a little comment or two there. But Roy, we'll stick with you. Nadas, I do mock some of his assists, but this one, Jesus, the man had pace for absolute days. I think he was having a little nap, got up and still ran past the defender. What do you think of his brilliant assist? And did it feel like a goal? Because I've watched out the replay, and although well done to David, I'm still like, did that actually go over the line? I don't know. But how was that goal from your point of view at the time? Just before, well, surely before half time, wasn't it?
I was exactly the same play. We couldn't quite see because it was down the other end. You just saw kind of Ashley, setting off so quick going down that left hand side. I think it was a ball over the top, races onto it, and a lovely kind of unselfish pass across. Like he could have shot there. I think quite easily and played a lovely ball through. I thought you were brave in mentioning about Nada's assists in your interview with Steve Morrison, by the way. I'm not sure I would have been quite as brave. But yeah, you couldn't quite tell if it had gone in. There was this kind of momentary pause where at one point we thought maybe he was offside or something because the players kind of went that way. The York players kind of stopped. No one was quite sure what was going on for a split second, and then everyone realised it must have gone in. But from watching the highlights back, I'm still not sure. I think when the keeper kind of scoops it back, that tells you it must have gone over the line a bit. But yeah.
The other thing, when watching the replay, I'm like, it kind of seemed to be bundled in on his arm. So is that not handball? I mean, the ref's given it. They can't take it away now. But what about yourself, George? What did you think of it? And have you watched it back yet?
I mean, the actual finish, I couldn't see any of it. But I looked away and I looked back, and Nada has been. I don't think it was his fault, but he'd been a bit quiet for the first 15 minutes or whatever. And he was just away. He was so fast, he was just full on goal. And then he put it across the box, and I couldn't tell if it had gone in till they all ran off celebrating. But now I see it looks like he put it in with his bum.
Still count.
I can't see if it went over the line or not, but they all count.
They absolutely all count. Yeah, Roy, you mentioned unselfish play. That most people would, once they're away past there, they've got their eyes on goal, they're a striker, they know it's all on them, they're going to shoot. But the intelligence to go, everyone expects me to shoot here, so I'm just going to play it in because everyone was lined up ready. If he'd shot, I think the keeper was in a fairly decent position. But for it to go across, that was really intelligent. Hopefully Nadas isn't listening to this one. I mean, well done to David. We're not taking anything away from your goal. That's your first goal in your debut. So don't think we're taking that away from you. But I think, George, you mentioned they had lots of the ball. And did it seem to you that that's what we let them have? We say, okay, you have it, and we're going to hit you on the counter, and we'll just soak it up. Did it seem intentional while you're in the ground? Or did it feel a bit like, oh, God, do something?
Well, it kind of felt a bit like, oh God, do something, because we were all like so excited for the first game and things like that. But then also, it probably was intentional because we were away at such a good side, and it worked, I guess, to get a point.
Yeah, absolutely. Rory, what do you think? Do you feel at the time that this is exactly how we were going to play it? We set up to soak it up.
I think so. Yeah, I think that was part of the game plan, wasn't it, to do that? I think if you listen back to what Morrow said after the match, I think he said the first half an hour of the first game back is always going to be really difficult and really hard. Players haven't played a competitive match for a few months. It's going to be really difficult, particularly away from home at such a good side. And you could tell they were quality, actually, particularly when they start pinging some passes around, all these little flicks and things. Which I think maybe they got a bit overconfident when they were 2-1 up second half. It felt like they were showboating a little bit. But yeah, I think it was definitely part of the game plan. And particularly Jaden Harris, I thought first half was really good, actually, in kind of closing people down, playing some nice passes. I thought he played that kind of Eastmond role really well, first half in particular.
We really missed that last season. You saw we had to change a lot to take out the fact that he wasn't there to do it. But so coming up towards the end of the match, were you thinking, oh, here we go, a loss? I mean, they're a good side. It's away from home. it's not the end of the world if we lose, but were you thinking, yeah, we've lost this now? And how were you feeling at that point? Were you feeling it's okay to lose it, or did you still have that little bit of hope? Because I didn't watching it on TV. I'm going to be honest.
Did you? Yeah, I definitely did. I think as Sarah kept telling me that we always draw 2-2 with York, so I still had that in the back of my mind. I don't know. I think when they scored, it felt like we still got time here. There's still going to be a few chances because we made lots of chances. Like talking of Jaden, there was one, maybe two opportunities where he could have shot and he didn't, and he was on. Yeah, probably not right in being unselfish at that point where he could have come on and could have gone on and shot. I think Nada's had an opportunity too as well. It felt like we were creating chances, not quite putting it. Yeah, getting on the end of them. And so I felt like there was still a few opportunities. I thought York were a bit overconfident in the last 20 minutes with all the showboating stuff. So I thought we were still in this.
We've done that ourselves at home. I remember a game I can't remember who it was against. We were absolutely smacking them. And next thing they broke and we were attacking. I suddenly looked up and went, "Oh my God, hang on, it is only 1-0. What are we doing?" Panic.
Yeah.
But what about yourself, George? Were you thinking, great, it's a nice long journey, we've had a lovely day out, and we've got to go home now with a loss under our belt? Or were you thinking, actually, we've shown what we can do, but did you think we had a chance coming into the last few?
Well, I thought we started the second half really well up until they scored. And then when they scored, I thought they got better. But like we still had a lot of, like, maybe not a lot, but like a few chances. We just had no like cutting edge.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm quite a negative person, so I was thinking we're going to go with a loss. But I wouldn't have been too bothered. Well, obviously I would have been bothered, but like we played well, and I thought we showed what we could do. And then I didn't think we were going to get anything. But then when that ball went in the box, I was happy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know if you'll know what the phrase "fox in the box" is all about, but what did you think of Bradzinho, his contribution? He's just come on. He was alive to it. He knew what was going on, and he just slid it home. How talk us through that your view of that goal, George?
Well, I love long throw-ins. I was really happy that we were doing long throw-ins, and I saw the long throw-in, and it hadn't worked. But we all stayed up, which Steve said in his interview, which I thought was good. And then Simper's always going to put a good ball in the box. And I don't know who was it Jack Taylor with the flick on?
Yeah.
Taylor, I can't remember.
Jack Taylor got the flick on, and Njoku was just there. And good finish. I think he's a proper handful.
Yeah, I think what I like is our two strikers give us something slightly different.
Yeah.
So you've got one of them doing one thing, getting the defence switched on one way, and then suddenly they have to rethink it for the last 20 or half an hour or whatever time Steve wants to do it. But what about yourself, Rory? Sort of how were you feeling with that just snatch at a half chance equaliser?
Yeah. Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, I thought Lewis had been quite quiet for most of the match. It probably wasn't one of his best games, but that, like George says, that ball in was lovely. That kind of curled left foot. And yeah, he was so quick, wasn't he, Brandon? Just to kind of get onto it. That came kind of from low. We'd had a couple of chances, and I think the fact that we didn't kind of roll over, that kind of resilience that we showed, never say die attitude, shows about what a good group of players and how they all seem to kind of work together. So yeah, when that ball went in, that was amazing. With only 3 or 4 minutes to go, at the back of your mind, you're always thinking, oh God, we've still got 5-6 minutes or whatever. We're going to do a Sutton and concede another one. But yeah, it was an amazing feeling to that goal went in right where kind of next to where we were.
Okay. Well, I had resilience to talk about in a minute, but we'll go now. What do you think? I mean, there was a spell last year where we clearly didn't have it because teams were scoring late goals against us. And then once that habit started, teams were like, oh, they're vulnerable. And then they just attacked and we started panicking. It's just a never ending thing. But so far, obviously it's only one game, but so far we're the ones getting the late goal. How important do you think this resilience is that they didn't roll over like the Millwall game? I know it was a most flattering scoreline in the world, but it could have been a lot worse. The players could have absolutely collapsed and just conceded double figures in that game, but they didn't. And this game as well, as George said in the start, that second penalty, I mean, we could have been looking at 4-5s. How do you feel about their mental attitude and the fact we scored a late goal?
Oh, yeah, I think you can show that. You can see that improvement from last year. And I think it's probably down to, as well as, I remember Steve saying this in the interview you did with him about the players being a year older and having more of that experience, but also having some of those more experienced heads there, like kind of Jonesy and Woodyard, who I thought was quite good actually. First half was probably one of his better games that he's had for us.
We've not seen him in the friendlies.
No, only the highlights.
Yeah, he has worked over the summer. He has worked, and he has come back a completely different person. But what was it like? Obviously, it was great for me watching on TV, but it's nothing like being there. What was it like for the in there with the 200 odd Sutton, or just under 200 Sutton fans getting a point away from home?
I think the drum really helped as well. I think that the atmosphere that created. Yeah. At first, I wasn't sure. It was quite loud, and I'm getting quite old. But yeah, it was. It did really help. It helps people it helps with the singing, helps the atmosphere, and we were all kind of crammed into. I think last year at York we were down the side. This time we were kind of behind the goal, which really helped. I think in a kind of small space, everyone was in a good mood. First game of the season, everyone was really up for it. The atmosphere I thought was fab. I thought we outsang York for most of it, to be fair. So yeah, it was great, and to get a point on the road, which just as George says, I wasn't really expecting us to get that. I don't think I would have definitely taken a point. So yeah, I think it was a fab game. It felt a bit like we'd nicked a point at the end, which is always a nice feeling as well, isn't it?
Really? Oh, well, I got that to talk about as well. But so George, how do you feel about the resilience that they showed, the mental attitude, and the late goal? And also, was it you on the drum? I saw you carrying it, but was you playing?
Well, it's Seb's drum, but I brought it up there because he was getting the train.
Right.
But I think the resilience comes with the experienced players we've got now, and also all our younger players that we bought last season are a year older, and they've had a year playing in this league. But yeah, I thought it was really good coming back twice.
And how was the celebrations from your point of view for that late equalising and the final whistle?
Yeah, it was amazing. I was standing right behind the drum, so it was really, really loud. It was really good.
Excellent. Rory, I know you're part of the little WhatsApp group, but there was discussion on the daylight robbery. I mean, I kind of was like, I'm not thinking it was a battling point or a daylight robbery. I think we got a point. Let's go away with it. It would be annoying if it happened to us, but I don't think it was a robbery as such. We weren't. I kind of put the term robbery when you're playing absolutely awful and you somehow get away with a result. But do you feel? I mean, you said we nicked it, but do you feel it was a robbery? Because York fans, they seem to be blaming themselves rather than blaming us, which is quite unusual, to be fair. But how did you sum it up? Was it a daylight robbery or just a good point?
I think at the time it felt a little bit like daylight robbery, but looking back at it and looking at the highlights and listening to what Steve said, I think it was a really kind of well executed game plan where we sit back, soak up pressure, hit them on the break, particularly that first goal. I think if you take away the first 20 minutes, half an hour of the game, which is always going to be difficult, isn't it? First game back away from home at the hot favourites to win the league. I think if you take away that kind of the first half an hour of madness, I think we played really well. I think, it was definitely a good point. And I think we deserved it in the end. I think that resilience that we showed, we played some nice football in points as well. I felt even, I know Jack Taylor made a couple of mistakes early doors, but then he made up for it second half with some really good challenges and some really good headers as well. And I think a lot of players were like that. I think it took them a bit of time to get into the game to start. So if you leave aside that first bit, I think it was a well executed game plan. I think we definitely deserved a point.
Excellent. George, do you think we robbed them or
I
good
don't.
value?
I think the way we played, like our game plan, made it look like that almost because we were like sitting back so much. It made it look like York were the much better team. So it made it look like we robbed a point. But I think that's how we wanted to do it. So I think it worked, and we actually deserve the point.
Fair dose.
Yeah.
A quick word, because I've seen different people mention the referee. To be honest, nothing jumped out at me, but I obviously don't watch the game the same as everyone else. But there seemed to be some frustrations with the referee. George, did you feel that? I mean, we've already talked about the goal he gave for us was a bit like, okay, was our goal? But did you think anything, the referee's performance needed any discussion?
He might have been a little bit soft, but I didn't actually think he was too bad.
Fair enough.
One of the better
Rory?
ones.
That might not be saying much. Rory, what did you think?
I'm not sure, and I always say this, I don't like to slag off referees, and then I always end up slagging off referees. But yeah, I felt there was a number of kind of 50-50 challenges, which I didn't even think were fouls that were given against us. Particularly, second half, I think Lewis and a couple of other people where it didn't even look like a foul, and he gave it to York. I don't know if it was the pressure of the crowd, first game, all of that. So nothing major. There are no big decisions I felt he got wrong or anything. But
I think they said on the commentary it was York's biggest opening day home crowd for something like 50 years.
Is that right?
Yeah, so there must have been a little bit of pressure there.
Yeah.
You've mentioned Steve's interview quite a lot, Rory.
Yeah.
I have to say, one part of it just made me giggle because, I mean, stating the obvious, what did you think of the game? Toughest game of the season? Well, yeah, it's game one. So it's. I assume he means it's going to be the toughest game of the season. But I mean, he seemed happy enough, and as you've alluded to a few times, he definitely seemed happy enough. I mean, George, have you had a chance to listen to it yet? Or
Yeah, I listened to it on the way back.
yeah, and how did you think he sums it up?
I mean, saying it's the toughest game of the season, I think, is a very Steve Morrison thing to say. But I agree with him. It probably is one of, if not the toughest game of the season. And like him, I'm very happy with a point. I'll take that all day.
Perfect. Well, we'll just go a couple of quick comments that came in when I asked for the points of views. And you know there's a song.
It's time to have your say. What's good, bad, okay? On the pitch or not? We'll talk about the lot. Your thoughts, your views on the latest news. It's your points of views.
I probably could have just started with these and cut out the last sort of 20 minutes. Ozzy said it was a very good away point and great with a start with something to build on. And Justin, who's in the States, I can't remember how or why he started following us. Sorry, Justin, but tickled to death for taking a point off a team like York, especially away, huge. And it made the half spending the match. Spending half the match explains to my fellow American buddy what promotion and relegations were in English football. A lot more bearable. So yeah, and while I've sort of mentioned someone in the USA, shout out to Nick who came over for one of the friendlies, and also to a guy I've known for years, Freddie, who's living in Australia, and he listens from Australia every episode apparently on Bondi Beach sometimes. So hello, Freddie. I promised I'd say hello. Did you guys remember? I didn't remind you, but did you remember we have got the good, the bad, and the funny as well, which we will whip through. So, George, we'll start with you first of all. What was good about the whole day / weekend? I don't know when you went up, stayed.
I'm gonna say the atmosphere. I think the atmosphere was really good.
Excellent, Rory.
Totally, yeah. Atmosphere was great, and I suppose scoring that goal, feeling when that went in. Yeah,
perfect. Rory, what was bad?
What was bad? I don't know really. It's an all right ground to go to. Not as good as Bootham Crescent, where you can kind of walk from the train station, the old ground. It's one of those kind of identikit grounds on the out of town, which I don't really like. Yeah, it's one of those kind of slightly soulless places. So maybe that's the bad.
Fair enough. George, what was bad for you?
I'm gonna say when they got given the first penalty, because like we were all so excited and it like immediately dropped the mood after like
Yeah.
9 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. Mood killer. And then
Well,
the atmosphere, it obviously came back because the atmosphere was your good point as well. What was funny for you, George?
Um, I'm not sure. I think the pink cats I find quite funny.
They get mentioned. They got mentioned by the stadium announcer apparently. Or
Yeah, I
something.
know.
It's like a big thing. Rory, what about yourself?
I think at one point, I think in the second half, some of the stewards wheeled a shopping trolley past us very, very slowly in front of the pitch behind the goal, and then wheeled it back the other way, which was just slightly strange. That made us laugh.
Drew your attention away from the football. Excellent. Well, we're going to quickly do a double looking ahead. So we've got Fulham babies on Tuesday night. So either of you know anything about the Fulham under 21s? Do you have any views of the cup competition? How do you think we're going to do against the Fulham kids, Rory? We'll start with you.
I think it's a good opportunity to give some of the players a bit of a run out. So, like you said, Jaden White, etc., etc. See what other people are kind of capable of. Like you say, I'm not really sure of the level of Fulham babies, but good opportunity, for a bit of give other people a bit of a run around.
Yeah, George.
I mean, I think it's a good opportunity to give other players minutes, but I don't know anything about Fulham under 21s.
No, it's a competition that obviously some clubs do like, lots of fans don't like. We're Sutton United. We're always going to enter these competitions because that's just the right thing to do. But I get it. I get why people don't like it, and I'm not dismissing anyone's views at all. But it does help forge relationships with these clubs as well, which can be quite handy, sort of longer term. But to either one of you, I'm going to be counting these in the prediction leagues to anyone. So if anyone's joined yet, which I'll go into in a minute, you'll get an email. So these will count towards them. So a bit of a wild card for some points there, George. I see your face already dropped. But do you want to give any kind of prediction now? You can obviously change your mind at any time up to kick off.
I don't know. I'm going to go 2-0 to Sutton.
2-0 Sutton. Go on. Don't forget, you can change your mind. Don't worry. Rory.
Yeah, I'll go 3-1, I reckon.
3-1.
And the money's always good, isn't it? Yeah, money's always good from the cup, like you always say, Mike.
Yeah, we made a good... One of the few clubs to take it seriously with attendance-wise, and we made a good amount from it last year, so definitely worth it. But then the sort of more important stuff on Saturday, Solihull Moors. What do you... I mean, I've got a weird soft spot for Solihull Moors because for years when we weren't in the conference and the football manager the National League, a football manager didn't go to that low down, I had to pick a different side, and I always ended up picking Solihull Moors because they were like the lowest possible rating in the game. So I had this weird affiliation with them. I don't know why. But what do you feel against Solihull, Rory?
I think they might be a tricky team to break down. I think they might be. Yeah, they might try and do what we did at York. I imagine, come and sit back and soak up some pressure. So I think it might be a tricky game. I know we've got a really hard start, and this is on paper, I suppose, one of the easier games. But I think we might find it tricky. So I think we might scrape it, kind of 1-0, 2-1, that kind of thing.
Okay. Hey George, what do you think about the Solihull game?
Again, I don't know much about them, but going off last season, I think it'll be quite tight and like quite scrappy. Again, like 1-0, something like that.
Yeah. I think it's going to give us a really good insight to our season, because I think they're probably going to try and soak us up a little bit, because I mean, although they're going to be one of the teams that expect to be up there, but I think the management have targeted home games, and they want more results from home games than we got last year. So I think we will probably have quite an attacking lineup, and go for it. I don't know whether that go for it will be on 60 minutes or from minute one, but I think they're definitely trying to put on a show. I think try and make it that you want to come to these home games and be excited. So I'm excited to see them. But you both play the Prediction League. Thank you very much. But if anyone else hasn't joined in, it's a long way to go. I had one message today going, "Oh, is it too late to join?" It's like, no, you can join literally up until the last game. You just might not get as many points. But the link goes out all the time on the socials, and literally you get point for entering, and then points for the right outcome, the right Sutton goals, the right opposition goals, the right goal scorer, or the first goal scorer, sorry, and then the overall outcome, the overall result as well. So lots of points to play for. So yeah, join in. It's a bit of fun. You get a cup. Oh, I didn't put the picture of Chalmers' cup. Chalmers won a cup, and so did Darbonator last year. He's put his cup up somewhere. But yeah, thank you both so much, gents. I am going to wrap it up. It's been great chatting to you. It's been great to actually have football to talk about than just other things. So we're going to wrap up this episode of Sutton Podcast. As always, we appreciate everyone's attention and feedback. Make sure you share the episode, and I look forward to all the extra likes, George, on TikTok when your little army gets involved. Get involved in the Knowing Me, Knowing You segment. Have you ever met a Sutton player outside of match days, and what was that about? Follow, like, and share on Sutton Podcast on social medias. Subscribe. Let us know what you think on the reviews. Join in with the Lucky Star Lounge. It's a little new thing I'm doing. It's kind of a place outside the forum, outside of social medias. It's kind of like social media, but a private type thing. I think I've got it right, but join it and let me know and see. As always, thank you to our sponsors, Lucky Star Gin. Big thank you to both of you, Rory and George, on the panel. Thanks to you, the listeners. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Sutton Podcast. Take care, and we will catch up soon. Thank you.
United! United!